If you engage in war, then a great empire will be destroyed.
Were roughly the words that the Oracle of Delphi gave to Croesus, king of Lydia, when asked if they should mobilize their forces to fight against the Persians. The ancient Greek world placed a lot of importance into their oracles and connections to gods and goddesses. So, as you would imagine, if there was someone who could communicate with the gods and relay their messages directly over to the people, they would be of pretty significant importance. No case illustrates this better than that of the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. Apollo, being the actual god of prophecies, puts the priests, and particularly the priestesses, of the temple in more of a position of power. According to Greek mythology, Zeus released two eagles, one from the east side of the world and the other from the west. They met at Delphi. Here there was a stone, the Omphalos, that marked it as the navel of the world. They believed that this belonged to Gaia and was guarded by a serpent called the Pythia. Apollo, upon seeing this, slayed the Pythia and claimed the spot as his own. Hence why the priestesses are called the Pythia. The Pythia was unique in that the priestesses of the time didn't have to be well-born nor rich to get chosen. They could even be married and have had children. As long as they were a priestess of the temple, they could still be a candidate for the future Pythia. However, if she did get chosen, she was expected to put her family aside and devote herself entirely to her new position. Originally, the Pythia was a youthful, beautiful woman, but after someone tried to assault her, it was necessary for the Pythia to be an elderly woman of at least 50 years of age. Traditionally, the oracle gives prophecies only on the seventh day after each new moon. During the day of prophecy, the guests would first have to purify themselves by washing in the nearby springs. Then they would go consult the oracle about things like marriage, war, and politics. By the order of this, the locals to Delphi, then other Greeks, and then finally all the non-Greeks. During this time, the priest would also pour water on a goat to determine whether or not Apollo wanted to be consulted. Afterward, it becomes a sacrifice along with barley cake that they either bought at the temple or the guests brought themselves. As for the Pythia, she also had to purify herself in the Castilian springs before the day of prophecy, after which she would burn laurel leaves and barley to offer to Apollo. After these proceedings were done, she would descend into the Adyton and sat upon a tripod on which she would give her prophecies after inhaling the volcanic fumes that spewed from the ground. She would enter a trance-like state and start muttering incoherent verses. It was the job of the priest to write down what she had said and convey the message over to the person who consulted the oracle. The Pythia was very powerful, as almost no decisions were made before consulting her. In the case of Croesus, he did bring his army to go against the Persians, but instead of the great empire of Persia falling, it was his own. Still, no one blamed the oracle, but instead Croesus for misinterpreting the Pythia's words.